Welcome each one of you, and then to be part of this masterclass. So, just to give about me and what BrightBee is all about. Uh, so, I'll start sharing my screen. So, first of all, who I am, and then why I am here might be one of your biggest question. So, let me clarify all your doubts. So, Uh, starting with what Flutter and why does it matter? So I'll just introduce about myself for a short while. So my name is Abhishek Jakkanavar. I graduate out of I graduated out as a civil engineering in 2008 from KLE Engineering College, Belgaum, Karnataka. So always being passionate about technology. I was selected as a Google ambassador for Google ambassador, and then so far in the second year I got selected as Google ambassador, and then the major work which was given to me to help upskill students on various platforms. So I was training them on Android specifically to help students, because now there is a huge gap between what the industry requires and then what we are taught in the school. So that is when I came to picture, and then we used to train students on various things. So we did it for 2 years, upskilled about more than 600 plus students in the college. So that is how I graduated. And right after college I started my first company, which is called as Infinity Innovations. So it was a company where we built a product which could monitor and save electricity by 35%. We made some sales, and then after 1 year I went ahead and looked for other opportunities. So I was very much interested in entrepreneurship, and wanted to learn more aspects of that. And that is when I went ahead and joined Sandbox Startups. So Sandbox Startups specifically is an incubator which helps entrepreneurs. Uh, and there are in India, there are 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs fail, and the basic reason is that they build something which nobody wants to buy. So when being start of the journey, I see a lot of people who are very much high skilled than me, what I believe, but not able to start companies because they don't have proper direction. So I worked in Sandbox Startups for 1 year, and then have helped more than 75 plus entrepreneurs reach to product stable stage where they started their companies. I was part of the core team of Sandbox Startups. So after working for 1 year, I said, why let's get back and start something of our own again. And that is what BrightBee is all about. So what BrightBee does, BrightBee is a one-stop platform for students. So what we want to do, so India has around more than 60% of Indians are youth, where unemployment is one of the biggest problem, and then that is what challenge we have taken up. So we want to empower students and upskill them to a level that they become independent. So our vision is also to see that to make an education accessible, affordable, and hassle free for all the students from not only India but from the world. And what our vision is also to see that we should not just create employment opportunities, but we should make a students so capable that even if 5% of them turn out to become entrepreneurs, uh, that is what we call success for us. So this is the basic thing of what all things we do. Now we have so far helped more than 1300. Now the number has gone to 1800 from past month. We have to update it, and these are some of the things which we do. Recently, we were recognized by Karnataka government for our work, and then we won the state award for education startup. Uh, this is some of a short video. If you have some time, you can go ahead and see what all things we have done. So we are working with 4+ education institutes so far. And about the team, so I am the founder of this company. We started this company around 8 months ago, and then this are my teammates. So we'll also be down the line getting in touch with you, and then helping you out with any queries. My mentors, uh, and I think media and all those things is not much required, but you can always have a look. Okay, so coming back. So this is all about me, a short intro, and then if there is anything which I can help with, please always feel free to reach out. So now, when we come back to Flutter, and then you see why Flutter is needed. So if you see what were the different mobile platforms uh, in the whole world. Okay, so let's get the story to before a 6 to 8 years, not 8 years exactly, but around 10 years back. And then see there were four major mobile platforms available. The first one, if you see, is Windows. We have Windows Phone, the Lumia phones, which we see very big time popular. And then there was BlackBerry phone, which was popular among all different phones. And then there is something called as Android, which is the most popular till date. And then iOS phone, Apple, which so the first touchscreen phone launched by Steve Jobs down in 2007. So now, what happened to these mobile platforms, and who are surviving now? Now, who got out first? BlackBerry was the first company to shut down its production, uh, and then after BlackBerry, it was Windows. So we had Lumia phones. Nokia, specifically being in keypad phones, had turned into a smartphone after Google approached Nokia to build an operating to have Nokia phones and have Android OS on it. But then Nokia denied it, and then in term after understanding it for 2 years that how the market is majorly shifting, they collaborated with Microsoft and build the operating system, which failed badly because the user adoption for Android had already grown to a very large extent, and then Samsung grew very highly at that point of time. So now what are we left with? We are left with just two good friends, maybe rivalry also, and they are Android and iOS. So now, if you see, when I was part of Google, and then we were doing a research on number of people in India who started using smartphones with internet, right? Somewhere in between 2014, the smartphone and internet penetration in India was around 15%. So 15% in India, smartphones was around 15%. But then in 2016, when Jio was launched, the penetration went out to 71%. It means it means people from the rural villages also started consuming content a lot, and they started using smartphones to a very large extent. So that was the biggest leap of growth which was uh, seen in the telecom industry uh, in the past 20 years. So now we are talking about the mobile platforms. Now, what kind of apps we build? Now we come specifically to the apps. Now, what are apps? How do we build apps? So now let us say I want to build an Android and iOS, because these are the only two apps which are there in the market today. Okay. So now how do I develop apps? Now there are three different ways in how I can develop apps. The first thing is a native approach, the second is an hybrid approach, and the third is the cross-platform. So now what is this native, hybrid, and cross-platform? Let's get more deep into it. So now native language, to be very simple, it is like I know a specific programming language and I can only develop that. For example, if I want to develop iOS apps, I will use Swift language. If I want to Android apps, I want to learn Java. Now, what's wrong with this? There's nothing wrong. Everything went smooth. Everything went smooth till 2009, 2010. Why? Because the two different operating systems having two different programming languages, everything seems smooth. But things started changing, where what started happening was, uh, if you say how the team, how mobile apps were built and how it was affecting the companies, is that if there is a company who hires 5 people to develop iOS app. Now, if you see whatever WhatsApp you use in Android phone, the same WhatsApp is also there in the iOS phone, right? But what companies had to do is now hire 5 people who can develop the app for iOS, and then again hire 5 people who knows how to build an Android app. And now what was happening? Now there was a laborious work which was happening, and then the more team you get, the more people you get on two different platforms, it was getting a bit messy, and then for a very large project, it was uneconomical. And I said, now there is a way. Can we do it? So till 2010, 11, everything was done in this way. But now a new approach came in called as hybrid approach. Now, what is hybrid approach? They say from past 15 years plus, people have been developing websites. There are more than 1.7 billion websites in the world today, right? And they say when we have this knowledge, why not use this knowledge and develop apps? And that is how the approach. They said, okay, we'll build an app using a website, and then can we convert that website into a mobile app? Was the approach, and that is how they begin. So some of the hybrid approach is Ionic, Cordova, and PhoneGap. So these are different kind of frameworks basically, which using the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you could build mobile apps. Now, after a hybrid approach, there is cross-platform. So there is a thin line between hybrid and cross-platform. So now some of the popular cross platforms approach has been JavaScript for me specifically, because till date JavaScript and Cordova, if you see, before Flutter was the most used cross platform approach. The reason is because it directly wraps up into a web browser and then gives you the app in two different platforms. But now there are other platforms like Xamarin, JavaScript, and Accelerator. But now there, why, when there is already so much of competition available, why should we learn Flutter? That may be one of the reason you would have encountered. Like, okay, why only Flutter? I have already learned HTML, CSS, and all those things. Why should I learn Flutter? And then why should not go with all these things? So if you see, what happens is, you have to understand how industry is working. The industry specifically, first, what they wanted just an app. Okay. Now they said, okay, you can build any app. Can you build an Android app? Okay, let's do it. If can you build an iOS app? Okay, let's do it. Now, when people started, so let's say now there is a project, and the project costing at the initial days, when people went, because they did not have any option to build cross platform, they said, okay, I can build an Android app for 50,000 rupees, I can build iOS app for 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees. Okay, they said, okay, great. But now the industry started changing, and then now there has to be updates, there has to be continuous updates, there has to be new functionalities which has to be implemented in that. Okay. And then all these frameworks were helping, but then there is a one major glitch where Flutter is different from all this cross-platform approach. And what is that? Is all we are talking about. Okay. So these are all those things so far which can be used to develop a cross-platform app. You can develop the cross-platform using JavaScript also, not only need to use Flutter. But I'll tell you why we'll develop Flutter. So these are some of the features, what Flutter is all about: speed, flexibility, native. And so specifically, I have not got more into it, but then when we are developing stuff, you will realize what I meant to say when I was talking about all this. So what makes Flutter unique is it compiles into native code. So what happened is, so there is something called as ARM binary code, where normally when you build native, what happens is your phone. So I'll just give an example which I gave in my last class. So now what is native and what is hybrid? So let us say now there are two people, two people. There is one person who knows only Kannada, and then on the other hand, there is a person who knows English. Okay, and there is, so now they want to have a conversation with each which both of them. So that is how even hardware and software of a product interacts with each other. So native language. So but now what happens is, now when I want to now when I want to have a conversation both of them, it is not possible, right? So what do? I get a third person who knows both Kannada and English. Why? Because now he can act as a medium for translate. So basically I'm creating a bridge between both of them as a intermediator. Okay. So now what is good about it and what is bad about it? The good thing about it is we are getting our work done. Okay, because that conversation is happening between these two people via this third person. But what happens is that if that person is not available all the time, sorry, if the person is not available all the time, the conversation might not happen. And then when he doesn't be there, even the conversation what they have is not quality. So now that is what is all makes Flutter unique. Now how? So what happens is when when we do JavaScript or Cordova, what it does is when so normally how mobile apps work is anything you code, right? It has to be converted into their binary language or their core native language. Whatever programming language I write, if I want to develop an Android app, it has to convert it into a Java or a Kotlin as their core language. Okay, and then that is only when it is understood. In the similar way, whatever code you write, ultimately the if you want to build iOS apps, it has to be converted into a Swift code. Only when that is when the iPhone understands that okay, this is what it is. But what React Native does is it wraps the whole thing into a website. So basically, it is a website. So your whole app is a website, and now you deploy your website as an app on different phones. Now, what is the flaw here? You cannot directly interact with the hardware device. Now, for example, now uh, you can imagine like a three layer development where on the base it is hardware, on the upper layer there is a bridge, and above that bridge there is your mobile app. So every time it has to go through that bridge to connect. So let us say if you want to build a small, let us say a camera app. Now if you build that camera app using Android and Java, the once you open that camera app, it will open in maximum what you can say zero point 0.5 seconds. Why? Because Java is the core language, and you have also built the app in Java. Now it will directly open. But now if you open the same app using React Native, what happens? The time spent now will not be 0.5 seconds. It may go up to 0.8 seconds or even more than 1 second. The reason the reason is that the hardware is sending a request to the app. Now that inside that app there is a website, and inside that website there is a mobile app. Now what happens? Now the permission, now if you say when you are installing a lot of apps, you say it needs a camera permission, it needs a microphone permission, it needs a files permission. To get that access to file, first what you have to do, now there is a bridge which is created. Now what it does is it sends the request from hardware to the mobile app. Now from that mobile app it goes to the website, and inside that website there is app which now gets access. So now basically now we are increasing the distance, and as the distance increases, the time also increases. So that is that is the only flaw a React Native has. Now how does this affect in long term? So if you have a very robust app, let us say you want to build a production level of company app, let us say some Instagram, Facebook, or anything. So today, if you see, the patience level of people have been drastically decreasing, and today's mobile app is all about mobile experience. How well you give mobile, how well you give better mobile experience. So just to give an example, so when a lot of payment apps came into picture, I was the first app. Paytm was the first app which was launched, and I used Paytm. But after that, Google Pay came into picture, Phone Pay came into picture. So if you ask me today which is the payment app I use, I have uninstalled Paytm 1.5 years ago. Until date, I am using Google Pay. Now, why did I use Google Pay when I had already Paytm installed in my phone. That's also 2 years before Google Pay. The reason is that the experience what Google Pay gives me matters, right? The scratch card effect. Okay, so in today's era, it doesn't matter if you launch the app even 2 years late, but people now, the machines, the phone today has become laptops. So people want an app with performance, right? So now, how do you do that? So people now don't just want to get the work done, but also on the other side, they want to have better experience. So, and if you want to keep this experience into picture, you need to have some really good features. So let us say if you want to build a scratch card like animation today, so now what you have to do is either you have to go and design all those animations by your own, which is very cumbersome job, or on the other hand, now I'm also telling how Flutter is useful here. So what Google has already done is, so they say that Google itself has its own animation packages and all those things. So they say, so when we already have these ready-made things, why should the developer write from scratch to start developing all these animations, the scratch effect or the popping effect? Let's give it ready-made. So now, if you want to develop a Google Pay app, let us say using Java and Android, it will take you, let us say, 1 month. Okay, if you do the same thing in JavaScript, okay, it may take you around 20-25 days. But then with the same effect of what Google Pay currently has. But then if you want to build the same thing in Flutter, it will hardly take you 8 to 10 days. Why? Because you get 90% of things what you want in an app is already ready made as a package. All you have to do is import the package and put it down. How we will be seeing it in our app which we will be building today. Okay, so how is it going so far? Are you okay with my tone, maybe the pitch or the speed? So any feedbacks would be helpful so that I can work on it and then we can go ahead.
Yes, sir. All good.
All good, Abhishek.
Okay, great. Okay, so that is what Flutter is all about, and then the more things about Flutter I will be discussing, maybe by developing the apps in real time and then helping you out. Okay, so there is no bridge required. So now, what is the programming languages we'll be using to build Dart, build Flutter? So basically, we'll be using Dart. So some of them ask that what is the prerequisite to understand all these things. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. So where here? Okay. So the programming language which we are using will be Dart. So some of them who asked me that what is the basic specifically required. So there is no specific things which you should know because we'll be covering all those things. But if you have any basic programming languages knowledge like C, Java, or any other programming language, that should be useful. But if you don't have any of those things, that is completely okay. Okay. So now what is Dart? Dart is basically, if you say, is a brother of C programming, right? Uh, so as you can see, it is a very open source web programming language, and then it is, if you say, 10x better than what C programming is, because uh, C programming takes around 2 to 3 years to get to a newer version, whereas if you see Dart, in just 1.5 year, it has moved from Dart 1.0 to Dart 2.0, and it is completely something similar to C. So this is some explanation about Dart. And then if you understand, the best part of Flutter is that it can not only help you build Android and iOS apps, but then Flutter web is also where you can build progressive web apps, PWA. You can also build the desktop applications, .exe applications, which is already in the alpha stage currently. And then you can also build websites using Flutter. So it has also already in the beta stage for Flutter web. So whatever you code, if you just code once and then you save it as different extensions, you can save it for all, you can build an app for all different platforms. Now what it does normally, it opens up a very big opportunity for you to work relentlessly in any of the game. So normally in companies today, either you have a front end developer as a back end developer, or a Android developer, or a iOS developer, or a website developer, or a desktop developer. Now all those things will be eliminated, and you'll have a greater skill set, uh, which you can get. So basically, when I learned Flutter just in the beta version, and then a company offered me a package of 10 lakh rupees in Bangalore, being in the beta stage. So that is the level of what Flutter can do, because the possibilities of Flutter are very dynamic, and then you can learn, you can build anything with just one code base. You even don't need to change the code base as well. So this is how Dart has been gaining popularity so far. Some more explanation about Dart, and we'll see all those things while doing it in our Android Studio. So this is the programming basically widget. This is a small widget example about how a Dart works, and then how Flutter is all about widgets. So I'll tell you more about it when we'll build real app, because now if you see this, it will be a complete bouncer for you. Now if you see, Alibaba was the first company to use Flutter around 1.5 years ago, and then followed by that, there are many companies who are following Dart, using Dart and Flutter programming. So some of the so how Flutter works? Flutter basically works on two widgets. One is stateless and what is stateful. So what is stateless and stateful? Again, I'll be explaining it more using an app, which will help you out in explaining, understanding various things. So as I told you, right, that how will I make sure that the Google Pay app, which I talked about, can be built in 10 days, whereas it will take me to build it using Android Java, or using JavaScript in 30 days. The major thing is they have 80% of the widgets ready. If you want to build something of list type, they already have a code ready for that. What you do, you just import it. Okay, so this is one view. There's something called as divider. Okay, so what you do, you don't need to code everything for that right from scratch, even the backend part. 90% they give you ready. If you want to dialog box, now you don't need to build a box and then you put text, and then you just say that simple dialogue and you'll get things. So what it is doing is, it is giving you the ready-made recipes, and all you have to do is, uh, so if you have ever been in, it is like Maggie, if you understand, right? So you want to have food, you are hungry, but then you cannot completely cook food. So what it does, it is like Maggie, where it gives ingredients ready-made, and just by pouring water and mixing it, in within 2 minutes you can get your Maggie ready. The same way, you have all these widgets which can reduce 90% of your work. So we will be also introducing a lot of these widgets step by step once we go ahead with that in the meanwhile. So these are different kind of widgets, which are rows and columns, which you'll understand. Yes. So I'll be also sharing this PPT with you all in the WhatsApp group, as well as I am creating a classroom link where you can ask your queries and all those things. So nothing. So this is how, as I was talking about the hardware software part, that how the framework and all those things work on the basic engine, uh, and in the whole process of the development cycle. So as I said, so directly it interacts with the native code. If you can see here all these things, so there is no intermediate layer here. Directly it is interacting. Whereas if you see JavaScript and all these things, there is another layer which comes here as a web layer. So now what happens? Now location will go to this layer, and then it will go to the native code, which basically acts as a bridge and takes time. So this is the major unique of Flutter. Yes, I can. You can see the web user. So basically, if you see the major difference between Flutter and web and the other programming languages is this bridge. So this bridge takes a lot of time, and that is what creates the performance issue in your app in the long term. So what are the other things? Great looking. If you see all these apps, you can build. So normally, if you see now, it is looking bit challenging. But then if you see, if you do this 6 days, maybe in this by the end of the second day, you will feel confident to build this kind of user interfaces in maximum 10 to 10 minutes or something. And that is the power of Flutter. So again, if you have worked on HTML, CSS, Flutter is going to be a lot easier for you. But if not, do not worry, because we'll be helping you out and understanding every single core things of Flutter. Now, what is hot reload? So normally, if you have developed app so far, you understand there is an to run an app on a mobile, it will take around 2 to 3 minutes to debug. It will compile the whole process and then to take it as an output. So what as a developer we do? There is a green button here on us to run the code on the app. We run it and we keep it for 2 to 3 minutes, and then we do, and that is how we spend time. But what Flutter has done, it has initiated hot reload, where if you make some minor code changes, it gets reinitiated, and within 10 seconds your new built the code change is reflected back into your mobile app. So again, you don't need to have two different sets. Like for example, as an Android or iOS developer, you need to have an XML file for the UI part, and then you have to have a logic part. Here, here nothing of that sort is required, as you will have a single file where you will work both on the logic as well as the UI part. So stateless and stateful widgets will be helping out extensions. So it is all about oops concept, which will be helping you out. Yeah, it's the only limit is how far you can imagine to build any of the apps you want to. So some examples. So now how you can develop Flutter apps? Either you can do it using Android Studio, IntelliJ, VS Code, and there are various platforms. For Apple, you have Xcode. So these are all the tools, basically an integrated development environments you can use to develop Flutter apps. Now I'll show you everything out on my system by building it. Okay, now how do I create a new Flutter project? And then that is how we start. We give some package name. So I think you have already done this while I shared you all the details regarding the installation files. and how to install. So all these things is already done. So there is Flutter packages, as I told you, that there is 90% of the work for you is already done. So you can go to this link and then directly you get package. Let us say I want a music player. Now I don't want to sit and code the whole music player. What I can do, I can get just one import statement, and I can take that import statement, paste it there, and then have a music player running on it. And then I'll also show you how to use this, because that is all included in the next 6 days course. So some more things which you can see. I'll share this PPT with you, and then I personally believe that we learn more by doing than just explaining it. So that is it from the basic to give an overview about Flutter. So any queries so far, any doubts, any questions, please feel free to get back.
I had a question. Can we build an operating system using Flutter, or an interface for Android or something using Flutter?
Yes. So if you see what Flutter's vision is, so Google says any hardware device which has a screen, right? We want to make sure that operating system or that mobile app or even that watch is has Flutter on it. So
Okay.
you can build a complete operating system on the Flutter as well.
Okay.
But the development for that core kernel is still into development. Now Flutter is corely at this point of time very focused upon the development platforms than the whole operating system, because Google, as you say, would not like to, already they are working on Android as a core operating system, which is already open source.
Yeah.
uh, Again, building a whole Flutter operating system for them is like creating competition in their own house,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we don't see a big time swing there, but you can create a plugin and then create a whole operating system because it is completely open source.
Okay.
So anybody with any queries? Nothing so far. So you want me to go ahead?
Yes, sir.
I hope everybody is online and not slept in the early morning.
Yes, go ahead, Abhishek.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, so I hope everything is clear till now. And then I would like to know that how many of you have successfully installed, and those who have not are not able to install it. Was everybody successfully able to install, or anybody who is here who has not yet installed or installed the operating system? The sorry the
Abhishek, I had some issues, but I'm trying to figure it out. And moreover, there are some questions in the comment box. You must check them out. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Pranav. So I was facing some issues. I'm trying to work over it in installing Flutter,
Okay.
but I'll get back to you if I'm able to install or if I face any new issues. Let me just see. And there are some questions in comment box, Abhishek.
Okay.
Yeah, you could check them out. Uh, yeah, that's it from my side.
Yeah, even I had some issues regarding the installation of this thing Flutter. So I think by tomorrow I'll be able to rejoin with you. By this evening I'll fix the issue. There's some issue with my laptop actually. I will fix that, and by tomorrow I will be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those who have not yet installed it, and then they can it's no problem. You can still be part. So today and tomorrow we have an online dart pad. Okay, where you can work on what all things I'll teach you today and tomorrow. Okay, but then make sure that by tomorrow evening you have things installed, and because day after tomorrow you will clearly need uh, the the native code, because if you want to use the complete functionality, you need to have Android Studio or VS Code installed for you. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So for those who have installed Android Studio, it is completely fine. Will be for them. You can directly use Android Studio, and then for those who have not yet installed or was not able to do it, so for them, just go to Google. Just go to Google and type for Dartpad. Okay, you just open Dartpad, and then maybe I'm getting this. So, but make sure you have a okay. You go create a new pad. Okay, and then click OK. Just a moment, I'll be back. Okay, so those who have not yet installed uh, can be here and just click on Flutter. Okay, so Dart basically it is like a C programming compiler which you already have, but then here you have a, so if you say Dart and create, you get a console. Basically this is like any other programming console which you have, and then on the other hand, if you go to Flutter, okay, and now if I run, just a moment. So you can see there is a whole mobile app screen here. So whatever you are seeing, it is as good as mobile app screen. Okay, so I'll be explaining you this code from scratch. Using Android Studio is what I'll be using it out. Okay, and those who do not have installed can use this for today and tomorrow. Now let's get back, and then so everybody is ready to go ahead with me. So also I'll give you an overview of what we are going to develop in the next 6 days. So based on the earlier courses, so the first 2 days will be same. So we'll be building apps various apps. So I'll show you the first day course content. Okay, so first we'll just be building a small text field. Oh, okay, just a small text field on our app. Next, we'll be building an image. Now the text is replaced by an image. And third, we'll be building an image and a particular text for that. Okay, so this is what we'll be doing today. So we'll see how things go as per pace today. And this is the plan for today. If everything goes well, we'll be completing this by today. And then tomorrow we'll be building WhatsApp UI, Instagram UI, and then the other UI which you have planned. And in the followed by the next 4 days, what we'll be doing is, so as I told you about stateless and stateful apps. So now what is that is all we'll discuss further. But then other things which we'll be doing is we'll be building a stone paper scissor game. It is a small game which we'll be working upon. So I hope you all have. I hope everybody is able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So what we'll be building after third day onwards is we'll be building a stone. We'll be building a stone paper scissor game, and then we'll be building a quiz app. So normally you have all played quiz, right? We'll be building a quiz app after that, and then we'll also be building a small music player after that. Okay, and then if time allows, we'll teach you to get data from internet. So as a developer, you just don't want to be learn basics, but then you want to get real-time apps, right? So this is the plan which we have after the next 2 days. The first today and tomorrow will be specifically dedicated to understand the core basics of Flutter, so that you get to a certain stage where that you can develop any user interface. And then followed by the next 4 days, we'll specifically be building the quiz app, the music player, uh, and maybe getting data from internet, and then building the stone paper scissor game. Okay. So now let's get started. And there is one thing which I would like to suggest you all. The first thing is, I hope everybody has an, or those who have Android phones have also have a, Android phone and a, USB data cable, right? So now you want to deploy your apps on the phones, isn't it? Now how do we do that? So now there is a small procedure which you have to follow. Now how do we do that? So I am mirroring my image, mirroring. So I have a physical device connected, and then I'm mirroring the phone here. So that you can see. I'll tell you the procedures about how to go ahead with that. So anybody who knows how to do a USB debugging?
Yes, sir. It's in the developer settings of the phone.
Okay, I see some problem here. Just a moment. I'll start it again. Just a moment. What is the issue? So basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to mirror my image uh, of phone, so that I can show you all here. Sorry for that. So I'll try a way to fix it. Till then, uh, what you can do is, so what basically I'm trying to do is get a mirror image of my phone on my desktop. Now for that, what I would suggest is go to Google and type for Visor. Okay, so Visor plugin for Chrome. I had already done it. So now what this does basically, see, as you can see a phone here. So what it does, so it has a, so when you connect a physical phone, whatever whatever is the image on the phone or however phone you are using, the same image is already created as a virtual, as a mirror image on a desktop. So let me see it. I don't know why is it showing error. It was working, everything was working fine till morning. I'll see if I can turn on my emulator.
Dada, you
Hmm.
can. I think you haven't enabled USB debugging.
It's on, the USB debugging is on.
Okay. Because yeah, my APK is installing, Visor APK is installing. So
Okay, so it normally works. Uh, so I use it every day. I don't know, today is the only day it's not working. Okay, so everybody else, what you can do is go to Google and search for Visor, and then just launch this app. So once you launch this app, now there is a settings which you have to do. So Akash, can you turn on your can you present your screen
yeah, sure.
so that till then we can at least explain them how to do the USB debugging part.
Yeah, sure.
Hmm?
And,
You can share your screen, and then until then I'll explain them how to do it on their phone. Till then I'll try to fix my Visor.
I'm presenting.
Okay. Okay.
I hope everyone can see my screen.
Okay.
Can
So
yeah,
now, so everybody is
can
able to see Akash's screen.
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll explain you in a moment how did he get it, and then how to do that. Okay, in a moment. Okay. So normally what you have to do is you have a physical phone in your hand. So what you have to do is you have to go to settings first. Akash, go to settings. So now why are we doing this? It is because now we are developing the apps, right? Now on the Android Studio we will code it, but then we want to see an output somewhere, right? So why not test it on a real device? So that is the reason we are doing this procedure. So once you go to your settings, now you have to go to about phone. Okay, in your about phone, you have to search for build number. Okay, now on the build number you have to tap 7 times.
As I have already enabled, it doesn't
Yes, so once
give
you
me.
enable, you don't need to enable it again. But then Akash, can you scroll up little bit?
Sorry. Yeah. No, that's the only thing.
Okay, so you just tap on build number. Tap on build number. Okay, so see, it shows no need, you are already a developer. It is because he has already tapped 7 times. So what you have to do is tap on it 7 times. Once you tap on it 7 times, it says congratulations, you are now a developer. Okay, now what you have to go do? You have to go back. Okay, and now you have to find a settings called as developer options. Okay, turn on, open the developer options. So now once you have to make sure that your developer options is on, and now scroll down, and now you have to turn on the USB debugging. So now what are we doing? Basically, we are giving permission to the phone saying that we will be installing an app from the system, and then you should allow it, right? So what you have to do is turn on USB debugging, and then connect your data cable to the system. Okay, so can you people follow this? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So can you just go ahead and do the same thing what Akash has done so far? Just go to Google Chrome. The only step you have to go to Google Chrome, and then install the Visor plugin. After installing the Visor plugin, okay, then go to your mobile, and go to settings. In settings, go to about phone. In your about phone, click build number 7 times. Now come back, and now go to developer options. Turn on USB debugging. Anybody who is facing any issues? So basically, we are getting the overview. We got an overview today, and now we are getting the installation for the first time. So what you are doing, it is just one time, but the next time you can directly start working on it directly. Yes, I have.
Did everyone get it? How to do?
I hope everybody is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So okay. So my visor is working, Akash now. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen.
Okay, okay. I'll stop presenting.
Okay, guys. So you can do it. Till then, I'll show you. So this is my phone. This is the real phone, normally phone which I am using. And now what I am doing is I am mirroring the image here. Just make it a bit small. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just run and see if whatever I have done is can be seen on my phone or not. Everybody is silent. So anybody with any issues? Anybody struggling with it, or you want me to show it again? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, no issues till now. It's still installing the APK.
Okay, it's installing the APK. That is cool.
Yeah.
So anybody else with any problems? So all you have to do is just go to Google Chrome, type for Visor, VYSOR. You type for Visor, you get an file, you get an automatically installation, and then you go search, open that Visor. Now what you have to do some changes on your phone. That is, go to settings, go to about phone, get things. So this is just one of the UI project app which I was working upon. You can see it here. Okay. So now what we will do? So on the other side, what we'll do is now go to file. I'll close this project and start everything from start. Okay. Okay. So everybody has this screen, right? So now I'll show you step by step how we create a new Flutter project. So I hope everybody would be doing it, but just for everybody's understanding and then explaining from my side, I'll show you just once so that next time onwards you can directly do it. Okay. Now what you have to do is go and start a new Flutter project. once I say a new Flutter project, what I have to do is create a Flutter application. I have to select this because there are various things. There is a Flutter plugin, Flutter package, and a module. I specifically want to Flutter mobile application. Okay, I go and click next. So now some of you may get this issue. It shows that some of them yesterday were asking me also that I am trying to create a project but it is not coming. That is asking me Flutter SDK path not given, right? So now for this what we have to do. So the first thing what we will do is give a project name. Okay, so for this project what I can do is, so I'll say Masterclass Flutter SDK. So Flutter SDK basically is a software development kit uh, for which you have to redirect. So I had already shared all those things linked to you in the group. Okay, and then now I'll just go and redirect it. So I have kept it in my. So what happens once you download uh, a package? So those you are don't, I'll just tell you for a short thing. So I'll just say Flutter SDK. Okay, and then I just click on the second link. Okay, now here I have to go and click on Windows, and then now I have to download this file. This file is somewhere between 600 MB. Now what I have done, I have extracted that folder. I have already downloaded, extracted it, and I have extracted it into a new folder called as Flutter. Now I'll just go to click on Flutter, and I say OK, and then now that error is gone. Okay, so basically project name is what I want to name my project name, and then where I want, this is the SDK path for my Flutter SDK, where I want the project to be stored, and then small description about the project. Then I say next, and it is asking me for a package name, and then I click on finish. So it may take a while to open up the project. Okay, and this is what you have to get it for the first time you do it. Okay, I also go ahead and change the theme to lighter so that it is very easy for you to understand it. The visibility would be good, would be little better. To change my theme, I'll go to settings and appearance and behavior theme. I change it from dark color to intelligent. I see. Okay. So I hope this is more better to you. So my font size is clear, right? Or you want me to increase the font size as well?
Yes, increase a little.
Okay. Now is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I want everybody to be at least with me till here. If anybody who is getting problems till here can come online and help me, because I want everybody to be on the same page so far. Either you should have this till date here ready. I should have this, and then on the other side, I should have this. Okay, so these are the two things which only then one we can go ahead, or else on the other side, if you have not installed and not have everything ready, you should at least go to this website. But that part, if you see same things are there, whatever is the code you are seeing here is the same thing here. Here, this is the output screen, this is the coding platform. Okay, so let's go ahead and start developing apps. I want response from your side. Hello, hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Jinesh, Kantesh, Kavya.
Yes.
You can go
Yes,
ahead.
all fine till now.
Hello.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So yes, yes. Hello. Who was it?
This is Netra.
Yes, Nitra. Tell me.
That why, sir, it is not connecting USB debugging problem.
Okay. So did you do as I told you, Nitra?
Yeah, it is showing in the mobile as well, but it is not connecting.
I mean on the this thing, maybe on the laptop screen it is not showing your display, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay, no issues. But at least what you have to make sure is, just a moment. What you have to make sure is that once your USB debugging is on, right? See here, you'll get your phone here, your phone mobile. It says definitely in a parenthesis it says your mobile is connected. Even if this is connected, it is okay. Now, why did I put this? Why, sir? It is because I wanted to show real time about what are the changes I am making, and what are the reflections of that on the phone. Okay, so if you people do not have this, do not or not able to work this, get this on the screen, that is okay. But then you should at least get this so that you are able to deploy your apps on your phone, on a physical phone. I can see it there directly.
Still, that is
Okay,
also not coming actually.
okay, that is also not coming. So uh, have you turned on the USB debugging?
Yeah.
Okay, so Netra, I'll show you another thing. Okay, just go to settings. Okay, and then here go to developer options. Okay, so here below USB debugging, right, there is something called as revoke USB debugging. Okay, so if you are not able to connect it, what you have to do is you have to click on that. Okay, revoke USB debugging, click on that, remove your data cable, put it back, and now connect. Okay, this should fix your problem. Okay, if not, feel free to reach back, or Akash is here to also help you out, who will help you out. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so assuming everybody is with me till here so far, I'll go ahead and run my project. So I have created a new project, and now what is the thing I'm first thing I'm going, I will go and run it. Okay, I'll run it. So now the first thing which you need to understand is, for running it on the first time, it takes minimum 1 or 2 minutes max. But follow up with that, only the first time when you deploy your new app on your phone, it takes some time, but after that it gets refactored. Next time you make any updates, maximum it takes is 5 to 10 seconds, and it gets done. Okay, now how can you make sure if get to know if it is installed or not? Now you can see below it says resolve dependencies, and then in the console you can also see that it is showing a step-by-step procedures, saying that what all process methods have been initiated.
Dada, how do we run?
To run, all you have to do is go to your Android Studio, and then here you will get a green button, play button.
Okay.
Okay, you have to just click on that.
Okay.
Okay, I have just clicked on that button. Now I'll wait for a while to see what comes on the screen, and then what I'll do, I'll delete everything on the screen, and then we'll start from scratch. Okay, it's still taking some time. But usually should not take so long. Let's wait for 2 more minutes, or else we'll close it and start it again. Okay, see, it is telling me that it is now installing the app.apk file. Okay, and automatically it will open the app as well. Okay, and now this is the basic app which is there, which you can see. Okay, so now what is all this code, and then why they have written, and then how do I understand all these things would be a challenge, right? So now what we will do, I'll delete every single thing which is here. Okay, now right from scratch, and now let's start building it. Okay, so now what we have to do, so everyone is with me till here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Abhishek.
Yes.
Okay, great. So the first thing what I need to do is, I don't know what to do. Okay, okay, so how do we begin? So the first thing what we do is write an import statement. Okay, so now what is an import statement, and why should we write it? Okay, so basically when in a lockdown, as I believe this would be the best example everybody would understand, is you should have raw materials to build something. Okay, so now from where will I get that raw materials? So either you sit at your home and start preparing bread yeast, and out of that yeast you prepare your bread, or you can directly go to a bakery and stock up 10 pounds of bread. Now what you're doing, basically you're importing a ready-made bread. Because why? Because you don't want to write the, you don't want to go to the of whole process of preparing a bread. In the similar way, again going back to the same example of Google Pay, as you said, we don't want to create a navigation bar, because navigation bar and then app bar, maybe buttons, because every time building it from scratch is a very big challenge for us. So now what we can do now, Google has given a package where there is ready-made widgets available. So for example, if I want to give another example is, let us say you want to construct a house. That being a civil engineer, always this example comes to your mind. If you want to build a house, okay, so now you have to import something, right? Now what is that import? Now there is some prerequisites which can make your life much easier. Now what is that? Electricity connection and water connection, right? Now what you do, you import it. Basically there is a standard, the government already set up lanes for electricity poles. What you do, you import it directly, and then you start working on whatever you want to build. Okay, so if you see any house or any construction you want to build, right, the size of the building may differ. Okay, the plan may differ, whatever may be the structure of the building, but then there is one common thing. What for that you do is you need an electricity and a water connection, and then what you do, you directly import it, because just for getting these two things you don't set a whole connection to the central power plant, neither you put a whole pipeline to the dam nearby you, because when things are already there, let's directly connect it. Let's connect and let's establish a connection with them. That's it. Okay, so that is the reason we write something called as import. Why? We want to make our life easier. We don't want to dig 20 kilometers pipeline to get water, because it is just available at 5 meters away. We have to just establish a connection. Now, what is that import? Now there is something called as material.dart package, which will give us all these things. So let's go. If I just put M, right, automatically it's tell me that, okay, are you searching for this? Then I say okay, yes, I was searching for material.dart. Okay, now I come down. Okay, now the import is clear. Okay, I have got my electricity, I have got my water connection to my house. Okay, now what next? Okay, so to just show you an example, I'll open up a paint. Okay, so now this is my house, and till now I was here. Let us say this. So I am importing. This is my water connection, and in the color, this is my water connection, and this is my electricity connection. Okay, we are, so whatever in programming basically I believe is always related to your real life, and then there is nothing big rocket science in it. So I have got a water connection, I have got a light connection. Now next what I have to do, now I have to enter my house. Okay, this is the plan of my house, and this is a top view. Okay, so we have to, so what is the next thing what you have to do? The first thing is, any house would have a entrance. Okay, and any house normally has only one main entrance. So this is my, so this is a 3D view of my door. Okay, just oblige me for that. Okay, so this is my entrance to your home. Okay, now what is that I'm trying to convey you? I'm trying to tell you that any house will have only one main gate. In the similar way, any program will have one entry gate. And now what is that entry gate is called? The entry gate is called as void main. Okay, and then open the brace. just the brace. Okay. Now this is basically an what you can say syntax. Now what does the syntax mean? The syntax mean if you have the certain set of instructions or rules which has to be followed blindly. Now what is that? It is basically if you're going to your temple, you have to wash your legs. Okay. If you have a house, you should have a entrance door, because if you don't have at least one entrance door, there is no point of having a house. Okay. So I hope you are clear with this import statement. And then we have the void. What is main? It is the main door to our app. And now what do we write here? So in the main function, what we are telling is, okay, now we want to run an app. Run, there is a function. So once I get into my house, okay, I want to sell. This is again a syntax. This is basically a standard structure which you have to follow. Okay. Now in the main, I'll write run app. Okay. And in my run app, it is showing what app should I run. I'll say you run an app called as my let us say I'll write it my new app. Okay. You just do this. This is what I'm saying. Okay. And I come out of this. Now what I've done so far, imported a statement because I wanted ready-made packages. Now I have entered my main house, and the main house, this is a syntax. I have to run an app and I can give any name here. Okay. But now it is showing us some error. Okay. What is the error? It says the function my new app isn't defined. Try importing the library that defines my new app, correcting them name to the existing package, or defining a function name my new app. Okay. So it says this is not existing. Okay. Then what I'll do, or just to make it simplified, what I'll say is I'll say Abhishek's house. Abhishek's Abhishek house. Okay. Now it says Abhishek house isn't existing there. So now what I have to do? I have to create a Abhishek house. Now how do I create? Now in widgets, in as I told you in Flutter, there are two kind of widgets. Okay, one is stateless widget, another is stateful widget. Okay. Now what is the stateless and stateful? You just forget it for now, and I'll just tell you the syntax of it, and then down the line I'll explain you in detail. For the next 2 days, we'll be building a stateless app. So by end of tomorrow, you'll get very clear what a stateless app is. But I'll still try to make it very simple. So now it is saying I'm saying that okay, if I want to have a general language, I get my electricity. Okay, I got an electricity from government. Now I say build a main door, and in the main door I want a plan. This is Abhishek's house, right? I want this house, but it says now tell me where is Abhishek, because I have to give what all there is there inside. So now what I write something called as STL. It's called a stateless widget, and I press enter. Just see what happens after I press enter. Okay, I press enter. Automatically a class is created for me. Okay, and now it is asking for a class name. And now what I'll write Abhishek house. Okay, and now the error is gone. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just run and see whatever we have done so far. Okay, where is my phone? Phone is here. To run it. I'm going very slow today because I want you to understand very clearly the fundamentals. Tomorrow onwards, we can little bit speed up on our pace, and then but once the basics are clear, then we can run fast. Okay. So okay, let's see what happens. Oh, there is nothing here. It means so it says the app is completely is successfully installed. But now what we are getting is a complete black screen. Okay. Now it means that at least our app is working now. Okay. But now we have a black screen, and then what do we want? What do we want is something like this. Okay. We want something like this, but we have only a black screen. Now, what next? The first thing what you have to make sure is we at least get some color here in the background. We get this app bar, we get this some color, and then we have to put a text. Okay, let's see step by step how to do it. So everything clear so far?
Yes, Abhishek.
Yes, yes.
So please,
I'm trying to
sorry.
I'm trying to run this app but getting error. Build failed करके it is showing.
So have you written the same thing what I have written?
No, which was by default the code was there no that I was running.
Okay, then I think it should run. The same app which I showed you earlier, right? It has a press button.
Yeah,
The same thing should
but
run.
it is
Okay. So you do one thing, you just delete everything and then just write what I have written so far, and then
okay.
you can try it out. Okay. So now what we have
Okay.
done, so we have received a blank. So basically what you say is uh, what I have done here. So first I'll tell you technically what happens. We have imported packages, and now we have a running a class. We are running a widget. Okay. Basically this is a class. Now we have initialized the class, and then it is returning a container. Okay. But this is basically a container. What is a container? The container is nothing but a box, right? What you can say, a gift box, or any box which has a certain height. If you see, basically, if I say a container has a certain height and width, right? So by default, when I just write stateless widget, automatically all this code is created without me knowing all these things, and it is creating a container. Okay, let's go into the container and let's see if we can change the. So now I don't know what to do inside a container, right? So now what will I do? Let's see, I'll press control and space bar. Now automatically will give me suggestions of what all things can be done. It says I can give it a certain height. It says I can give a certain margin, color. Okay, let's try to change the color and see. Color. Okay. Now what I'll do, put colors dot. Let's make it red. Let's say things red if turns red. And then here, so the first time when I use it, I use a green button to run it. If I'm making some minor changes, I'll use the thunder button. It is called as hot reload. Okay, because now what it does, it makes quick change without installing the whole app. Okay. Oh great, I got this. Okay, let's change it to some different color. Red. Let's change it to blue, not blue. Let's say it's yellow. Okay, and then what I'll do, I'll reduce it off, and then I'll rerun it. Okay, now you see how fast it changes. Okay, great. It means whatever we are coding, it is being reflected on the app. Now next, what should I do? Now I want to create this. Okay, but now how should I create this? This is something looks me like a app bar, and this looks like a body. Okay, so now again we are on the syntax page. So now what we have to do is remove this color. Okay, and then this container, right? Let's replace it with something called as material app. Okay, now what is this material app and why are we using it? Right, so as I told you, we have imported material dart. Okay, and then this material app has lot of widgets. As I told you, right, if you want a scratch card, or you want a circular widget, or you want a rounded animation, all those things are ready made in this material app. Now how? What I'll do is inside this material app, I just press enter. Okay, and then I press control space. Okay, and then it is showing me different things what I can do here. So there's something called as home. Okay, now I use the home parameter. In the home, what I want, so again whatever I'm teaching you so far is completely a syntax. This is fixed for all the apps which you have to use. Okay, so once you do it for 3 to 4 times, even before understand remember anything, you will understand what to do. Okay, in the home there is something called a scaffold which we'll use. So and then again same thing. Okay, scaffold. Now why did I use scaffold? I'll tell you in a while. Okay, I have used the scaffold, and then let's run it. Let's run it. What I have done so far, I had a container. I gave some color, but now now I replace that container with a material app. Inside that material app, I have a scaffold. Okay, and I'll just refactor it. Okay, let's run and see what happens. Oh, automatically we got a white screen here. Okay, so why did we get a white screen? It is because the color of this, that if I use a scaffold, the black background should be white, is already written in this scaffold. Okay, and it might be sounding that why not use a container and give a white button, right? We could always do that, but then I'll tell you many more things which will make you understand why I need a scaffold. Okay, so inside this scaffold, what I'll do is I'll write something called as, so basically I want an app bar. I want an app bar. Okay, so I hope you are understanding, guys.
Yes, Abhishek.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
okay. So please stop me anywhere you do not understand and you want me to repeat it. Please feel free to come online and stop me there. Okay.
Okay.
So now what I want this app bar and I want a background color. So what I do now, either there are two ways. Either I can create a new app bar and do all these designs, or there is a ready-made widget which can directly help me do it. Okay. Now how do I do it? Now that functionality is available in scaffold. Okay. So if I don't know, now I don't know what all things scaffold gives me, what I'll press, I press control and press spacebar. And it says what all things can be. Oh, then it is saying that Okay, you want to create a app bar. There is a ready-made app bar parameter already available. App bar, yes. I want an app bar, and then this is a key value. Like as you give name Abhishek, height 160 centimeters, weight 35 kgs. In the similar way, there is the Flutter works on the system called as key value. So if you see home scaffold app bar, then I say I need an app bar. Okay, I need an app bar. So do I want some color for this back app bar? Okay, so I have just put an app bar. App bar is nothing but app bar. Okay, I just run this. Okay, now let's see what happens. So now can you see, even by writing just one line of code, automatically an app bar came here. So what I'll do is I'll make it half. Okay, now I'll remove this and I'll show you again. Okay, I remove this, I run it. I did not get an app bar, but for I want an app bar. Now what will I do? I'll write app bar is a key, and for that I need an app bar. Okay, and now I run it. Automatically I got app bar. But then who created this app bar? How did you know that I wanted an app bar with the height this much and that much? So all those things are already written in this class called as app bar. If you see here, it has. So what Flutter has done is they have in by ready-made they have written all those things in this code. Okay, see here. And what did we do? We just called it. Oh, get me an app bar. So now let us say if I want to change the color of this app bar. Okay, now what I say, I press enter here. Oh, app bar. Okay, let's make this app bar as a green. Okay, now what should I do? So I don't know how to change the color. I press Control space bar. Then say, oh, it is automatically showing that I can change the background color of this. Okay, I said enter. Yes, I want to change the background color. Now what should I write? I should now the color should be colors dot yellow. Okay, I feel yellow. Let's make it bit. Let's make it teal or blue. Blue, not blue. Let's make it orange, deep orange. Okay, and I say run. See, if you see, it is not only changing the app bar but also the background of app bar. Now this is the power of what you can say Flutter, because now just by writing one line of code, it is getting thousands of things done. Okay, now I have an app. Now in the app bar, I got a background color. Now I say I want a text here. Here I want some text because normally all apps have some kind of text here, right? So I go to app, it says UI designing, right? I want this UI designing to be written there. Okay, let's do it. Now how do I write? Now I say this is a comma where it is ending. Now I come here, I press enter because I'm still in the app bar. If you see in the app bar, okay. Now here if I want to write a text, then what we have to do? Now there is a parameter called as control. Now I press again. I don't know what to write, so I write control space bar, and then it says something called as title. Yes, I want a title for this. Okay, so now the title will be of type what? It should be a text, right? So I say text. Okay, now what text should I write? I should write as Abhishek's app. Okay, and I run it. Now can you see how simple it is? So normally what happens? What we are trying to do is we are creating a. Now this is a playground basically, right? So I'll just uncomment some of these things and I run it. Okay, so basically this is our playground where we can do whatever we want. in that what we are doing now, we are creating sections. Okay, and now how do we create sections? There are ready-made widgets which automatically tell us that how widgets can be created. Now I say app bar because app bar is standard in all the apps, right? So for that I don't want to go and write 100 lines of code and create app bar where it is ready-madely giving me a parameter from which where I can create an app bar. Okay, now I uncomment this and I run it. Okay, I get an app bar back. Next, so normally a scaffold has two things inside it. One is an app bar. See, I'll close this app bar because everything what I've written, you can see a hierarchy view here. So in scaffold, can have two things. One is an app bar, and second thing is a body. There is something called as body. Now, what is this body? Okay, so I'll show you here. So I have this. I'll use the same thing, and I'll try to explain you in detail. Okay. Okay. So if you see, this is what we call as a scaffold. Okay, this is the scaffold. I think I have to make the brush a bit thicker. I understand it. Okay. So is it coming small?
Dada, increase the size beside left side of the color. Increase the size.
Okay. Okay. So what happens is this is the scaffold. Okay. This is the scaffold, and then I have an app bar. Now, what is the app bar? App bar size is only inside the scaffold. I have something called as app bar, and then I have something called as body. The body starts from here to here. Okay. So now what I'll do is, I hope you have understood till here. So here what I'll do is in the body, what I'll do is I'll add a text. Okay, and this text I'll say, hi Abhishek. Say, hello Masterclass students, and I'll rerun it. Okay, now see what happens. Okay, so can you see? So what happens is we have a material app, and inside that we have a home. Our home is nothing but the boundary of our house. Boundary of our house. In the boundary of our house, we have an app bar. Basically, you have a house name, right? So when you say app bar, automatically the top portion with some certain height is allotted to the app bar. And then when I say body and write anything inside that, automatically whatever I write here is given here. Okay, so now this is the core fundamental things which you need to understand in building Flutter apps. Okay, so just for your example, just for your understanding, I'll create the whole life cycle here. Okay, which would be helpful to you. Okay, so now how do we start? Okay, Just a moment. So this is the what you can say the flow method, which is a must, which has to be understood by you. Once you understand this, then every time you create it, this is the methodology which you have to follow. Okay. So now what we do? Why I'm not able to write it here? Just a moment. Okay. Sorry for this. Okay. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to build a run app. Okay. Run app was my first method. So inside my run app, what I have to do, I have to create a home. So that was what? Abhishek's house. Abhishek's this thing. Say this Abhishek house. I have to create a Abhishek house. Or basically we can say Abhishek's, or we can say a okay, let's not confuse you for now. Abhishek's house. I created. Okay. And now inside Abhishek's house, what I have to create? I have to create a material app. Okay. And once I create a material app, what I have to do? I have to write a scaffold inside it. Scaffold. Okay. But now see things are starting getting to change. Now scaffold has two things inside it. Scaffold has one, it has is a app bar. Second, it has a body. Okay, great. And then again what we did in our app bar, we created a text. Okay, in our body what we did, we also put a text item. Okay, so now see how things are flowing. So if I am able to put it here, I take it here, make it more simpler for you. Okay, you can see run app. So this is what you can say is a standard procedure for building any app. What I do, first I have to go import a statement. I write a main class, and in that I run a function called as run app. Then in run app I can give any name. Okay, and then I give a stateless stl. If I write stl, automatically it will create some part for me, code part, and then what I'll write, I'll give the same name what I've given here. So I can also write it as my app or as my first app or second app, whatever it is. Okay, so basically what I'm doing, I'm creating my house. I have created a class called as my house, and then in return what it did, it gave me a container. But I did not use container because see because container doesn't have a app bar and body. If you use a container, you have to write height is equals to this much, width is equals to this much, color is this. Now it has to go width like this. So now as a beginner we don't know all those things. What we want to do, we want ready-made Maggi masala where we can directly put it in the water and you can directly use it. We don't want to know what how much effort they have put to make that masala, because that feels tasty for us, right? So what we are doing, we are buying that package, and so that package is nothing but material app. And in this material app, again what they say, you use scaffold. So this is basically a syntax. Syntax is standard operating procedures. To start a vehicle, first what you have to do, sit on the bike, take off the stand, turn on the key, kick the starter, and now run. Now what is this? This is a standard operating procedures. In the similar way, Want to develop apps? What to do? You write import a class, import this material dot, run a app, function, run a method called as run app. In that have a function, whatever class name you want, and now initialize that class name, and then in that what you have to write, you have to write is home. You have to give a home parameter which is called as scaffold, because now what it will do, it will give the whole boundary of the app, and in that you give a app bar. Automatically an app bar is created, and then you give a body. Okay, now what I can do, I can also create widgets in this app bar. Now what I did, I gave some more parameters. I gave a background color, some background color, and I gave a title. That title is of type text. And then what I did, I came to a body, and I created a text which says hello masterclass students, and that is how I got it. So did you understand what I told you here?
Abhishek,
Yes,
one
yes.
question. In home parameter scaffold is there, right? Other than that, do we have any other option, or if it is there, what
See,
all those?
okay. So basically what happens is you have many more things. Okay. But for example, but
Yeah.
scaffold is the 99.9, or you can always say 100% used. Why? Why? Because see, you want app bar, right? So let me ask you the other way around. Okay. So now, if you want chapati, right? You want chapati, right? What you need? You need a dough of chapati. Okay. If you need dough of chapati, what do you need? You need wheat, atta. Atta you need, right? Now, where do you get atta? You get it from wheat, right? Did you get my point?
Yeah.
Okay. But now, so now if you're asking,
Yeah.
I want to create chapati, then definitely you'll be using wheat, because you're 100% sure that if I get wheat, automatically I can create all these things. In a similar way, all these things are ready-made in this scaffold. Okay. These are ready-made things. All I have to do is initialize it. If I don't use this scaffold, okay, let's say I don't use my scaffold, and in the home I can use a container, a small container. Okay, if I go into container and then now I say app bar, there is no app bar here. Now what you have to do, you have to create your own okay, now I'll show you this as well. Okay, now why I'm using scaffold and not something else, it is because of this. So there is some disturbance. Please can you mute it? Okay, so I'll show you the same thing using container. So I had a scaffold which did a lot of things for me, but now I'm trying to do the same thing for container. So container, I gave a color, it gave me a color. Now I want to create a, what you can say, a app bar. Now I see if I have a app bar here, I don't know what to do. I press control space, it says no app bar. Now it normally, so now there is something called as child here. So in child, what I can write, I can put another container. Okay, now that container should have again some color. This color I'll give as colors dot yellow. Okay, now let's say run it. Okay, it is taking it. So now see, it is taking, replacing it. So now now container this, now there is one container above another container. Now what I should write, I should write some width. Width is equals to, what I can say is 200.0. okay, height is equal to 100.0. okay, now I run it. Okay, so now what is it happening is it is consuming the whole height and width. So now what happens is, container you should give certain height and width. Okay, But now if you see, things start getting complicated. I have a container. In that container I am putting another container. Now in that container I am giving some parameters child. Now and in that, if I want to use further, I cannot add a text here. See, I am getting error, right? So rather than things getting complicated, what they have done is they have given us uh, ready-made widget, basically a scaffold which has an app bar and a body. Okay, see, in just three that I written on 6 to 7 lines of code where I just got this, but in this just 5 lines of code, what I got a beautiful app bar which has a certain text. Also, I got a certain text in the main body as well. Understood?
Yeah, like you're saying scaffold is one of the widget which has an app bar
Scaffold,
and
yes, scaffold is one of the widget which has parameters. So basically, as I said, you right.
hmm,
So I have a house. This is the board of my house. This nivas, that nivas, and all those things. This is the plan of my house,
hmm,
right? So scaffold is a widget which has certain parameters inside it. So
hmm.
scaffold basically has an app bar and a body. So in the app bar, you get a ready-made app bar widget, and in the body, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, like this only can we create our own widget?
Yes, you can create your own widget. I'll be showing you all those things.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
showing you everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody else who has any queries so far?
Can we change the shape of app bar and all?
Yes, you can change the shape of the app bar. So
And
that will
its width and other things?
yes. You can change all those things.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Abhishek,
Yes.
while we write, I am not getting this auto suggestion while writing this stateless Z
Uh, you are doing it in Dartpad on the online website.
no, and Enter Studio.
Okay. So what you do, I'll tell you. Okay. Now let us say I wanted text. I'll just copy this and I'll show you again how to do it. I press. Okay. So I wanted text. Okay, in the body, I don't know. So what you put it is press on control. Okay, press on control and press space bar.
Yes, that control space, I am getting this suggestion, but when you wrote that class for stateless widget,
Okay.
it generated the auto code for this widget build and all. That I
Yes,
did
yes.
not get.
See
Yeah,
what
when
I'll
you
do
wrote this, yeah.
this right. Okay, I'll comment it out. I'll show you again. Okay, so everything is clear till here. You are having something like this, right?
Yes.
So press STL.
Okay.
Just press STL. Okay,
Okay.
and press enter. You select that.
Yes,
You
yes, got it.
you select this and press enter.
Yes, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's uh, proceed with the first tab. So this is the first tab which we had, and now let's go and do this. Okay, so let's see the color of this, and is so now the color of this is uh, called as a teal. I feel it is teal. Okay, yes. Okay, so now what would I do? I go to my project. Okay, I'll also on the side and open here. Now I want something similar to this. I want a app bar with this color. Also, I want this with deep color, and I want a text here in the center. Okay, so now I'll fix this. So to fix this, what I'll do, I'll go here app bar. App bar will have now a color which is called as teal. Okay, now how do I know it is teal? I press Control space bar, and now I go down. Sorry, Control space bar. I go down, and there is a tail here. Okay, I press till. Okay, color is changed. See, you can see on the left hand side showing 12, and I say run. Okay, yes, this is changed. Now I also want this is done. Now what I want this text to be in the center, but it is going here. Now the first question is, why is it going on the top left corner? And the second question is, how can I bring it in the center, right? So for that, what I do is, so in Flutter, everything is about widgets. Okay, if I see there's a widget here, there's a widget here, there's a widget here. Now in this text, I want it in the center. Now what can I make it to get it into the center is I can just click on the text. Okay, I can just click on the text, and then if you see there is a tube light which will come on the left hand side. Okay, click on this text. A bulb is coming on the left hand side. I'll just press and see what is telling me. It is asking me center widget automatically. Okay, I say okay, let's press enter and see what happens. And now I rerun it again. Oh great. Even I did not have to write anything, or just I pressed on this and automatically it got converted. Okay, but now I also want to give a background color like this. This is the background color. Okay, so now let's go back and now first see what can we do. So first we know that as in container we can give background color, right? Let's see in this text we want a background color. We want to give the background color to the whole body, right? See, this is the whole body, and inside that body we have a text which has a white color, right? Now what can you do? First we'll give a background color. Okay, but to use a background color, what we can do, we can give a background color only either in a app bar or in a container, but we don't have a container here. So what we do, we will put this text into a box first. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll go here again, we click here, we'll say okay, go, it says wrap with a container. Now why I'm putting it container, because let me see if I in the body, if I have a color. Okay, I have a background color here which I can use. Let me see if I can use colors dot teal accent. Okay, and now see if I can run it. Okay, yes, I got it. But now what I want this text to be in the center. Now I say this text, I go to this bulb. After selecting on this text, I say go to center widget. Automatically it will go and center the widget. So if you see, almost similar to what we have here, same top, same bottom. I'll open this. No, I think we messed it up. This color should be here, that color should be here, right? So it will just be a teal. Okay, and this will be teal accent. And now I run it again. Oh great, it means this and these are similar, but see the font size is bit smaller. Now let me increase the font size. Now how do I increase the font size? I go to my project, and now see, at times what happens, see, I mess it up big time. So what we do to restructure it, to create a hierarchical view like the one I showed you here, is right click anywhere, just click anywhere, right click and say reformat code with Dart format. Now see what happens. See, beautifully it is arranged in a hierarchical view. Now you see in scaffold you have a app bar and a body, because both of them have a same margin. Inside the app bar I have a title background color. In the body I have a background color and I have a text. Okay. So now what I want to increase the text size. So what I have to give in this text, I have to go here inside the text box. I put comma because I want to add more parameters inside the text. I'll say control space. It is asking me for a style. Yes, I want a style parameter. Now what is the style? I want a text style. Okay, again in the parenthesis. I press enter. Now I say, now I don't know what all styles are there, so I press control space bar. Come here, I press control space bar and it says, oh, automatically showing font size. Yes, I want to select the font size. The font size should be, let us say 25.0. Okay, let's try it out what happens. Okay, great. Okay. So, understood? Everybody?
Yes.
Any feedback for me? Any feedback for me? Am I going fast? Am I going slow? You want me to change anything so that it is more comfortable for you?
What's that Dart format?
Okay, so what is this Dart format is? I'll tell you. So basically, let us say now, whenever I was writing code, right, I could write code it, I can code it like this also. So normally this is what I'll do. I'll write it. Okay, so let us say I have written code like this. Okay, and now are you able to read the code properly? At least are
No.
you understanding? No, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no,
So
no, no.
so now what I do, I click right click. So basically, because as I'm already working on this, I know how things work. But then as a beginner, you don't know how things work, right? So
Yeah.
what we do, we right click as a go and click on reformat code with that format. Okay.
Okay.
Now just see what happens. Okay. It is realigning the code. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll go and close things. Okay. Okay. If you see what happens, I have a, I'll coming back to the same thing. I have a class name. I call this the class name as Abhishek's house. In the Abhishek house, I have a material app. Okay. So you can see in the Abhishek's house, I have a material app. That is my child. Right.
Okay.
In the material app, I have a scaffold child.
Yeah.
I have a scaffold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now I go and extend this scaffold. Now
Yeah. We have a app bar in it then.
see in this scaffold only I have app bar and a body.
Okay.
See, I have a app bar and a body. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now you see how structured way it is. Now I extend my app bar. I have a text here, title text.
Okay.
Okay. And then I have a body. Now I have in the body I have a text. In the see this is hierarchy. In this body I have a child which is called as text.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the reason we use this Dart format, because now what it does, it is basically, see in widgets, as I told you, everything is a container. So now what we are doing, I'll show you again here. Okay. So what we are doing, I have a big container. This container name is scaffold. Okay. In this container, I am putting a container again, and that I am naming it as a app bar. Okay. Then I'm putting another container telling you that this is my body. And in that
Okay.
body, I'm putting another container, say, another box saying that this is my text.
Okay.
Okay. So it is something like a suitcase. A suitcase basically shelves, you know, right? A shelf which is divided into different things. Right? That this much size is for you, this much size is for you. Right? So that is the whole purpose of using this Dart format, because it helps you read the code very easily.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody is able to do this.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
Abhishek.
Yes, yes.
Can we have a class name instead of style?
Sorry,
Can we have a class name
here
instead of style?
in the style, right? We have a class name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that all things we'll be sharing it tomorrow, because now we want to focus on the core fundamentals. Okay,
Okay.
so let's at this point of time focus on how to work with widgets. How can I create a button? How can I create an image? Okay, so we'll work on that first, and then tomorrow you'll working on more. Tomorrow and after tomorrow you'll working on more on style. What kind of styles? How can I create a rounded corner? How can I create a button with this design, that design, and all those things? Okay. So, so what I'll do now is I'll share the source code with all of you. Okay. What will I do? I'll share this project on GitHub, and I'll share you the link as well. I'll say masterclass 2 day 1 project 1 project 1. Okay, and I'll say share. So what you guys can do, you can directly, I'll share you the link. You can directly go copy that code and paste it on your system, and you can use it successfully. Can't finish GitHub sharing process. My initial commit failed. Okay, no problem. I see there is some problem with the source code. So what I'll do is I have a ready-made source code for this. Okay, what I'll do is Control C. So tomorrow onwards, I'll at the end I'll also share you the source code of everything what we do. Okay, Control V, save. So we have this. So we'll create a classroom. There were only 5 to 6 people. That is the reason I did not create a classroom. So tomorrow onwards, what I'll do is I'll share the classroom link where you can go ahead and get all the source code in advance. Okay, the source code I have shared it on the link on the group. What you can do, you can directly copy paste it. Okay, and you can run it if you want.
Abhishek,
Yes.
can we get your recorded videos? This
Yes,
one.
definitely. Yes, yeah, we can. You will get it right after the session. So what we
Okay,
have
we'll
done
get
is,
it on WhatsApp.
yes, we will get it on WhatsApp. I'll share you the link.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So what we have done last time, as we were running on low bandwidth, not share it. So we have Akash here helping us out. So right after the class, within half an hour, we'll be uploading it on YouTube, and we'll share you the link in the group.
Okay.
Okay. Any challenges for you to cope up? Hello. Okay, so everybody was able to do it. I want everybody to come online and share your review one by one.
Akash, one more thing.
Yes.
What about that child you have used here? It's like something built-in function or what?
Which one?
So
Child
this
text.
child,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
child,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So basically, what happens is, see, a body. What we are doing is, see, this body. I told you, right? This body is nothing but this this portion of the part. Is it not
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
The lower portion.
Okay.
Okay. I'll take a pencil or something. So see, from here. From here,
Yeah.
this whole is the
Okay. Okay.
body,
Yeah.
right? So now in this body, again, we'll go back to the same example of our, what you can say, house. Now what will I do there? I'll take a button. Okay, I'll create, this is my hall. Okay,
Okay.
this is my kitchen. Okay, this is my bedroom. This is my veranda. Okay, so this is my restroom. So what are I am creating? Basically, I am creating a child in the body. Okay, a
Okay. Okay.
body has different things, right?
So we are making subparts.
Yes, I am making subparts.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that subpart is nothing but called as child.
So can we specify the size of child, means how big it should be?
Yes, we can do it. So that is what we are coming up
Okay.
next. Okay, so now if you see, okay, so going forward, before that, I want everybody's review on how things are going, and then are you able to hello?
So,
Yeah, Abhishek.
So everybody able to do it. So we'll go ahead.
yes.
Yeah, we can go ahead.
Okay, great. Okay, so now there is a beautiful question which Arnav asked, that I have a child, and then in the example I already showed you, where here that he said, okay, now you say this is a child, it means I can give a specific height and width to that. Yes, we can. Now we'll see how to do that. Okay, now let's run our app again. Let's run our app. So just a moment. The wire got disconnected, so I have to connect it again. Okay, so we'll finish this, and then by today I'll also show you how to import an image from internet. Okay, so that is what we'll do today, and then tomorrow we'll move forward with the next steps. Okay, so now this is this. So Arnav, you asked me about that, how now basically what I'm saying is the whole app, the whole body has only one child here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now how should I differentiate if I have multiple childs? Okay,
Yeah.
so for now, what I'll do is, so I'll delete everything, Arnav, here in the body.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll show you that. Now where is my child ending? The child is ending here. Okay, what I can also create is, okay, let's do it the other way around. Okay, in the body, Now first I'll remove this body. Okay, and I'll only run it. Okay, now this is the case. Now what we have to do is first let's add a body. Okay, and that body I can see if I add a background color directly we cannot add it, right? Because we have to add something inside it. So what I'll do is I'll add a container. Okay, now and I'll add a the container will have a color. Dot. Okay, so see I have a container and then I have a teal color. Okay, so now I want a child inside it. Okay, so now now if I want to create a what you can say height and width. Okay, so this container what I have to give is I have to give certain height and width to this container. Okay, so let's first what we do is let's give some height and width to this. Height I'll give it as 100 and width I'll give it as 200. Okay, and now let's run and see what happens. Can you see here?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how we can have container, right? But now let us say I want the text to be in the center, the color of that boundary to be different. So what I want to convey is that, so let's delete all these things. We'll do the same thing, but what we will do is we'll see if we can create something like this, and then the color here will be yellow. Let's see if we can here. Okay, let's see if we can do this now. Okay, we want a teal and inside that we want a box container which is yellow, and above that we have a text. Okay, all permutation combination. So for that now what I'll do, I'll remove this height and width of the container, because now what it will take by default the whole box, because we have not mentioned height and width. In that what we have called as a child. Okay, we'll create a child and we'll make it another as a container. Okay, and now we'll give a color to that colors dot, let's make it yellow. We'll give some width as 100.0, height as 100.0, and then let's run and see what happens. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, can you tell me what has happened?
Background color of the body went away.
Yes. So it means what we have to do is give. Now let's try it. No, not here. Now I'll show another thing. Okay. How about now? Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Okay. Now this is done. Now what we need to have now here is we have a container.
Text. Yeah.
Okay. And then we want to put it in the center. Okay. Now leave it by putting it a text. Okay. Let's put a text first. So again, a container can have a child, right?
Yeah.
We put a text. and then we say hi students. Okay, and then let's run it. Okay, and now what we wanted this container, yellow color container, to be in the center, right?
Okay.
Now what we do, we press on this. It's not happening. So now what I do, I go to its parent. Oh, it should work. Okay, oh, I have to press enter first here. Okay, so now what will I do? I'll go to this container and I say center, center, center widget, center, and I say run again. Can you see?
Yeah. So
Okay.
so we can change the position of text also in that child.
Yes, we can change the position of the that as well in the center. Okay, again you have to use some styling which says some give some margin and padding from top and bottom. Okay,
Okay.
so we can do it. So let's for now very focus very specifically on the widgets, like how can I add a button, how can I add things. Okay, and
Okay.
then styling and all those things we'll specifically tomorrow work more on. We'll be building WhatsApp app, WhatsApp
Okay.
UI,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
where you will understand every single thing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's get back to very simple, where what we do is we remove this container. Okay, let's have very simple thing. What we have is we have a container. In that container we have a child. We have a child which says text, and then that text has hi students. Okay, that is there. Now what I want this text to be in the center. I want this container to be the center. So I add a enter widget and then give some styling. Style, I'll say text style. No, it will be text style. Yeah, text style. And in that I want font size to be 25.0. Okay, and I save it. Now this is done. Okay, so far clear with the text file. Okay, so now next what I am going to show you is, now we have an text file. Okay, now how do we add an image to this? Okay, now how do we add an image is what I'll be showing you next. Just a moment. Just a moment. I'm drinking some water. I'll come back to in a minute. Okay, great. So now we have achieved this app so far, and now I'll show you first thing. What the next challenge what we want is, what if we want to have multiple text, right? If I have high students, what if I want another text in it? Can we do it? Yes. How? If no, why can't we do it? Okay, we have a child here. Let's see if we can add another child here. Okay. How do I make sure that I am in the right parenthesis? Is I have to see container. Okay, and I'm in the container, and it says after text style I have a text. Okay, it means I have to write after the text because that is where the child are there. Let us see if I can have another child. We cannot have another child because now what happens is a container can have only one child. So if you see here, what we can have is we have a center, inside we have a container, and in a container we have a child. Now this child can have another child, but what happens is it cannot have multiple childs. A container, it is like a box, right? A box can have only one child. So now what if we want multiple text is what we'll be working on it tomorrow. But then today specifically, I'll tell you that I have this app now. Where is it? Okay. Hmm. Wait, it's not run yet. It's running. Okay. So now first we'll see how we can use an image inside of this text. Okay. So for that, what we'll do is we'll remove this text. Okay. And then we'll see if we can write an. Now, if I want to get an image from the internet, there is something called as image.network. Okay. Now, from this, now network, what is saying, it is asking you for a string. So now what is the string? Now let's, you have to put a string of a image URL. So for that, what I'll do, I'll go to Google and I'll search for an okay, we can take this image. I feel this is very big. The size is very big. Okay. Open. One image in a new tab. This doesn't have a PNG extension, but let's see. Let's try it out, or else we can try for another link. Some error there. Hmm. Invalid URL. So we have to go and check for some other image with a PNG, or else what I go is tiny pic. So this is basically where you can put a image URL, and then let me check for some alternative images on which can give us an.
Abhishek,
Yes,
actually right click and you will get the address. You'll get the PNG.
that address we get it, but that has to be a JPG or a PNG format image.
Yeah, you can right click and you'll get it. Copy image address.
Copy image address. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a PNG file here, HTTP. Now let's try this. Okay, can you see here, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so what I did, so I had a text. Now I replaced it with an image, and now I want that image to be from a internet. Now for that internet, if you had worked on Android or various platforms, you have to give permissions, right? But here there is not of that sort. There is a certain parameters where you need to give permissions, but that is going forward. But then obviously, if I want to fetch an image from an internet, all I have to do is like image. I can write image dot network because we want to get network that is from internet, and in that we have to pass a string. That string is nothing but the image URL, right? Once I just pass that, the app is here from the image. Okay. So I think that is what we should wind up today because we have been a bit slow, and then my plan was to complete two more apps, but I hope the basics are very clear for now. So any queries for today? Uh, your
Abhishek,
yes.
can we have a container in a scaffold?
Can we have a container in a scaffold? Okay. Okay. Let's try it if we can have it not, and then you will have that answer.
No,
Okay.
why? Because
Hmm.
what we have done here in scaffold we have containers, but you tried the other way, it didn't work. In container, you tried having scaffold.
See, you cannot have a scaffold inside a container because that is the standard syntax. See, basically it is like, can you put a how can I tell you? So normally there is a box, and inside that box you can keep pencil,
Okay,
right?
but yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
But if I ask you, can you put a pencil inside a can you put a box inside a pencil,
No,
right?
yeah.
Because that is how the parameters and the traits of there are. So what is scaffold? Scaffold is basically the whole parameter of or the class scaffold is made such that it can have app bar and body inside it, right?
Okay,
So instead of scaffold here, you can directly have this container here as well. Okay, but then what will happen? You will not have an app bar, and then you will not have these things. Now you have to design it manually.
okay.
Yes. Any other queries?
No, Abhishek.
Abhishek, quick question.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
on that, I think earlier for app bar, you showed like it opened up that app bar dot dart file, right? How do you look at that?
Okay. So for example, as I told you, now normally what we are doing is we are just calling the app bar class, and then in that we are giving these parameters, right? Now if I did not wanted to write this, I want to understand what all things are implemented in this app bar class, what I do is, Kanti sir,
Yeah.
I press on control, and press on this app bar.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Anybody else?
Yeah, even I had one question.
Yes, Jinesh.
Here, when you're using an image from the network,
Hmm.
does every time when I launch the app, will it take access from the net, or it will take access from the local file somewhere?
So for now, there is something called as cache, which we keep
Okay.
it, right? So normally, what happens? Uh, it by default it tries to access the internet every time.
Hmm.
Okay. So if you have saved this app, what we will do is, now this is a hard coded image, right?
Yes.
So every time you open the app next time, it will fetch it from the network. Okay. Now
Okay.
there are various methodologies where we implement the cache, where what it does is, if it gets access to the internet once, you take it and save it in your cache, right? So next
Okay.
time
Okay.
next time it doesn't goes and does that. It doesn't use the internet next time.
Okay. Got it.
Hmm?
Yeah. Sure.
Dada, I
Hmm.
had a doubt. Uh, can we make the app bar and containers triangle or circle? And yes, if we can, how?
See, again, you can do, there is nothing as of sort which says that you can make it a triangle, circle or not. Okay, you can always make it. How? Now there is a styling class. So as we have a styling class for for, you can say, text, you have a styling class for app bar. Okay, you
Okay.
have to put, there is something called as, now what happens is, nobody so far in the apps which you have, nobody has a triangle app bar. Okay.
Okay.
But then if you still want to do it, then what you have to do, you have to make your own theme class. Like one, we have this app bar here. App bar is a part of scaffold. So inside the scaffold, so what we have is also called as a theme.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to go there, you have to design your own custom app bar, and you can call it here.
Okay.
Hmm? So you can
Okay.
do it. So now whatever styling is there, right? What you have to play, you have to all play around. If you just saw earlier, I did not put a background color inside the scaffold, but I put it inside the container. And then when I put another container, it replaced the whole image, right?
Okay.
Then what I did, I removed that color from here and I put it up, because based on experience, I know that scaffold is the whole body, and above that the widgets are placed. So
Yeah.
all you have to do is play around. Once you play
Mm.
around, you will understand more into it.
Okay. And also there was another question. Can we use local files by converting JPEG to PNG?
Yes, you can use it. So now there are various, as I said, Flutter classes, right? What you can do is, you can directly fetch it from internet, convert it into JPEG, PNG, or other formats.
Okay.
Okay. But my question is, why do you want to convert it in the first place,
Mm. Okay.
right? So now let us say if you are on to build an image editor app,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it makes sense, because you want to convert JPEG to PNG, because you want the background, the border background to be invisible. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you can do it. There are various classes where you just put 2 lines of code, you get an image, you can crop it, and you can paste it there. Okay. So
Okay.
we're working with a lot of classes in that, whatever you're talking about third, fourth, and fifth day, right? We'll be working on that.
Okay.
Hmm. Yes. Anybody else? Shubhangi, and then we have Pranav, Agveni. Any queries?
No.
Nothing? Okay. So
Yes.
there is a small challenge. So I want you to go ahead today and then design a small app. Okay. So what I want you to change the color accent. I want you to put your image here. So we have here, and then you can share. So I want you all to go ahead, uh, do something similar. Do something similar. Mm, and similar. You would have your own Facebook or Instagram image URL, right? Or else, if you don't want to put your image, you take some your school, college images based on code what I've told you, and then you can take it and then share it on WhatsApp. Also, what I'll be doing today is I'm creating a classroom section, a classroom on Google Classroom. I'll share you the link. You join there, so I'll show you that as well. So which we did it in the earlier masterclass. So basically, we did it for the first masterclass which we held it around 1 month ago. So here, what we do, we share the really source content here, and then people are sharing what all things they have built. So this is the WhatsApp UI built by one of our student in the last class. Okay, this is what we thought her. So people keep on sharing things here. Also, we keep on sharing resources. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll create a new classroom, a section, and then I'll share you all those things. Also, we also share some of the course content here. So if you have any queries for today, please ask me, or else I think we'll close the session today. And then if you have any queries, uh, we'll be here back from 3 o'clock to 3:30.